Back in the 90s.
We were trolling the children.
And eating the children.
All that and more.
Cody, put a spell on Mike.
Book! Right spell.
Yes.
Yes.
How do you spell KO, Mike Tyson?
You don't know.
Exactly. It's so simple.
Yeah.
Literally.
We should have had that face when you posted on my you sent a text message to me a while back.
Oh yeah. the face you make when you just plain lose.
Mm-hmm.
He just
Well, time ran out. The winner is Mac.
Mike's just sitting there like, the fuck?
Really?
Should probably put that on the Instagram page later.
Yep.
Okay, I'll fucking do that. So by the time you're listening to this, you can fucking pause this and go look at it.
Look at his reaction to every punch out that we give him.
And that it's literally that face.
Yes.
That face, though.
That face, though. Welcome
to episode 42 of the Super Media Brothers podcast. I am Midnight Agent Raw.
And I'm Okami.
We are back. Yeah. We are back with the 8th installment of our Cult Cinema Showdown series.
And what a spooky one it is.
Fuck yeah. Going back to the 90s.
Specifically 91 and 93.
That's right. To get scared stupid in Salem.
Yep.
Fuck
if you have figured it out by now.
That's right. This week, it's Hocus Pocus versus Ernest Scared Stupid.
The sisters versus the trolls.
Trolling the motherfuckers. The sisters versus the trolls. And I made a post earlier this week where basically all these motherfuckers, it's up to some teenagers, a cat, a dog, and a bumbling, lovable buffoon to...
With multiple personality.
Oh, it's amazeballs.
So how do we save Halloween, guys?
We take a sip of this fucking drink.
Monster sip.
That's right, a monstrous sip of this juice. That was a good one.
Juice.
That was a good one! So, I guess we'll get started. And before we take a trip to 1991, we will take a trip to 1993. God damn it.
I'm sorry, I'm obnoxiously loud.
Oh, I wasn't saying God damn it to that. I was just saying God damn it, 1993. Holy shit, 25 years ago.
I know.
Can you believe it has been 25 years since Hocus Pocus debuted?
I mean, we still watch it pretty much every year, so...
I think it has become a staple of anybody that has grown up in the 90s or anybody who is a parent of the children that grew up in the 90s.
Or if you like Halloween like we do.
Yeah, just watch that shit.
Because even at the little spirit stores that we have, they have just merchandise of Hocus Pocus now. Actually, pop vinyl, decorations, whatever you may consider. It's popular now.
Yeah.
Or more so.
Fuck yeah. And then the 25th anniversary Blu-ray is released, I believe. Or is coming out this month. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Literally witch.
Yep. 3 witches.
3. Wait, that movie 3 Ninjas.
3 witches.
Yeah, 3
witches come back.
That's right. 3 witches witch back. Like, what?
I said witch where?
I said witch where? Witch where? They're sweeping the nation, sir.
Yep.
With their fucking brooms. We're
just spellbound.
Hell yes. So, I guess we'll get into it. It's
if we haven't gotten it already.
No. It's Hocus motherfucking Pocus.
Oh, now we're in it. Okay.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus, 1993. Guys, directed by Kenny Ortega. I'm just saying. This movie's a staple of every year for Halloween, like big time. We got a lot of feedback on this on this particular episode for this shit, and what better way to kick it off than with this movie first, because everybody will be on the Hocus Pocus hype train.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously most of you, if not all of you, have seen this movie several times. But for those of you that haven't, spoilers for both of these movies.
Here's a rundown of it.
You know. So, the first thing I noticed in rewatching, because we watch this every year, but, you know, every time you watch something of these movies, you notice more and more shit. And the opening, I was just like, it's like Little House on the Prairie.
But spoopy.
Yeah. Just these two kids. And you're just like, where the fuck's everybody else at? Big ass farmland, and you just see a witch fly by the fucking window and
Steal your children.
Yeah, and Thackeray Binks is following his sister, who's being led away by Sarah's singing to the Sanderson house, and this is where all
dinner.
Yeah, for dinner. This is where all hell breaks loose, like right off the bat.
Yep.
Just follows her in there, and he's just like, man, dude, it was hot as fuck in that house.
Yeah, he was sweating bullets in that shit.
Motherfucker was sweating. Nobody else in that sumbitch was sweating. He was just like, dude, that would have been a hell of an air conditioning commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just that fucking movie.
Is it right hot there. As hell in there?
Yes, it is. It's just been a great fucking air conditioning commercial.
Try Binks AC.
It's like magic.
Yeah.
It's like fucking magic. It's so cool. It's like magic.
We have 3 settings: off, Hocus, and Pocus.
Yes. Oh, anyway, so his little sister is being about to be eaten. Her soul's about to be sucked.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it's not like physically eating the child. It's as Winifred does.
Yeah, and we get introduced to Winnie, Mary, and Sarah. Which I think it's funny that Sarah Jessica Parker is playing a character named Sarah. And I had jokingly said earlier, I was like, well, maybe it's because like she was not able to remember what the actual character's name was. So they were just like, fuck it, just call her Sarah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I mean, she was blonde, so.
It fits.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But yeah, so they lure the little sister into the house and prepare the ritual to consume her soul. They end up succeeding with it. And this is something that you noticed that I just now noticed after so many watches of this movie. They basically take in the essence of the child's soul and become youthful again, or younger per se, because they were pretty much ragged and gray hairs and whatnot. But at the same time, their clothes became new.
Yeah, I mean, they were wearing shawls and shit, but my God, they looked ratty. Like, even the clothes under it looked just ratty and stuff.
So if you ever have worn out clothes and you need to just, save some money, just eat the soul of a child and they'll just be perked right back up.
I'm telling you, that is key. Just eat a child.
You got moth holes in it, just eat a child.
Eat a fucking child.
Acid wash, a little too acid washed, and restore them by eating your child.
Yes. Why was this not a beauty and health tip ages ago?
I know. There would have been like a perfect ad in the 90s.
Guys, right here, we're bringing it to you right now. That this is our Super Media Bros fashion tip. Eat the children to update your clothing.
And no, we're not atheists.
My mic stand was just like, pong!
He's like, ow. Hurtful.
So that happens, and not only does that happen, Thackeray tries to save the day and rush in, and Winifred just zaps the fuck out of him. Turn him into a fucking cat.
Yep. A black cat who lives eternally.
Yeah, and not before, like not long after that, there's a lynch mob that just happens to just
pop up.
Yeah, I mean,
they were probably preparing for the lynch mob before they found, the kids.
And that's what's blowing my mind. I'm just kind of like,
it was like, those, it's our daily, mob at midnight.
Yeah, but what blows my mind is, okay, is it just coincidence that, this happened? Or was it like, okay, the little girl is missing, the son is missing. That's how long it fucking took them to put that lynch mob together and go after him. But they knew exactly where to fucking go.
Because, witches.
Yeah, you would think that they would have their shit hidden better.
3 strange women in the middle of a forest. Where do we start?
Let's start where that smoky chimney is, just way out in the fucking distance.
Where's that purple shit coming from?
Yeah, what the fuck is that, man?
It's Prince.
It is Prince.
Purple smoke. Purple smoke.
They were partying like it was $16.99. Just saying.
300 years later.
300 years later.
So yeah, the mob eventually finds them. They ask, "Where's our children?" And
Where are they?
where are the kids?
Someone knows where they are.
The dad's like, "Where are the other kids hiding?" And of course, Winifred, with her smart aleck mouth, says, "Cat's got my tongue."
Oh, fucking assholes.
So yeah, they proceed with the hanging. Afterwards of them stating, "By the time the black flame candle is lit again, we shall rise, but only lit by a virgin."
Yeah.
Again, I brought this up many times. Why is it every single little detail about some kind of spell or ritual has to do with a virgin? Like, what exactly about a virgin is, like, special? Magically.
The purity.
The purity.
The purity.
I heard periody.
Yes, purity.
Ew.
I mean, technically, like, that was a period piece, 1693.
I mean, you had women in there.
You know. Just saying. It was a bloody good time.
That was excellent.
You're what? Oof! So, yeah, any fucking way.
Shedding some light on that one.
So that happens, and then they fade out on a very sad Binks the cat, where he just meow.
Get away from me, foul beast! Kicks the cat.
Ah, poor fucking kid.
Peter's triggered.
Right, and every time I looked at him, I was like, "This is Loki." Every fucking time I looked at the cat, this is Loki.
So I'm surprised he's not meowing right now.
Fancy dress goth kitty.
I saw this say fancy feast.
Fancy feast. No, that's what the witches were having. Where it was a fancy feast.
Yeah.
So, anyway, you flash forward 300 years, and it turns out everything that is being told as a story by the teacher in a classroom. And this is where we get introduced to Max Dennison, who is one of the main characters of the film, alongside Vanessa, the chick that he's got a crush on. He has just moved to Salem from fucking L.A.
Is it Allison?
Yeah. Motherfucking Allison. Mm-hmm. And it's very obvious he's different from everybody else because, they're all, "Hey, look at our plaid and our fall clothing and all this other shit." I mean, granted, now he's wearing, like, sleeves and shit, but he's got his tie-dye shirt on and...
Very Cali dude. Yeah. Because he's from Los Angeles.
That's right. But what cracks me up is the fucking... We were joking about this shit, how, like, smooth move X-Lax whenever he's just, like, basically kind of makes an ass out of himself by being like, "Oh, this is all, this is all bullshit. Halloween was invented by the candy company," and, Allison's...
Conspiracy.
Yeah, and Allison's like, "Oh, it's, the one night of the year where the dead can come back to life," and she's getting, ovation in the classroom and all this shit. So right after that, he's just like, "In case Jimi Hendrix doesn't show up tonight, here's my number."
Like, who the fuck does that and actually succeeds?
Dude, I don't know. I could have never fucking done any shit like that. Like, ever.
Like, you just got proven wrong. You got proven you're a moron. And all of a sudden, you go hit on this chick, and it's like, "Oh, well, he has balls. I'll give him a chance."
Bulge.
Like,
He has bulge.
He has bulge.
Whopper. Bulge.
Takes out a packet of Whoppers.
Burger Wang.
Have it your wang.
Have it your wang. So... Yeah, so Saved by the Bell, obviously, he's like, "Here's my number." Motherfuckers leave. Sees her outside, and she's like, "Trick or treat." Like, they kind of casually introduce themselves to each other, and she's like, "Trick or treat." Gives him a piece of paper, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, I got that number." Looks
His
on
own
it.
number.
Yeah. She's like, "Bitch, I got your number. You can have it back, though."
Mm-hmm.
So he rides off on his bike. I guess he's taking shortcuts, through the graveyard to get fucking home. And then there are these two jackasses just fucking chilling out in the graveyard.
It's like Bulk and Skull.
It really is like Bulk and Skull, dude. And then I looked and I was just like, oh, it's Jay and Silent Juggalo.
Striking back.
I'm Jay. This is Ernie. How many times I gotta tell you?
It's ice.
It's not Ernie no more. It's Ice. Ice. Oh,
baby.
This is Ice. Shaved into the back of his head.
Shaved ice.
Yes! High five. That's fucking awesome. Shaved Ice. Just a little off the top.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's
Just a hair early.
Yeah. And you just gotta love it. He's like, like, where you from? He's like, just moved here. He's like, we're from Los Angeles. Dumb look on their face.
Where?
L.A.
Oh.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just start calling him Hollywood. And
Proceed to harass him.
and then take his fucking Nikes, his cross trainers. Say, check out the new cross trainers.
I can just hear Mike in the background. Stop it.
Get some help. You bastards.
Mm-hmm.
So they fucking take his shoes. The motherfucker rides home barefoot in socks. And I'm sitting there just like, man, this kid must hate his life already. He's sitting there, he's like, man, I just want to go back to California and possibly get held up at gunpoint for less than my fucking shoes. I don't fucking know how it works over there. How it worked over there back in the 90s, but still. He's like, man, I rode all the way out to fucking Salem, Massachusetts just to get my motherfucking shoes stolen by some fuck nuts in a graveyard.
Where's knife culture when you need it?
It's right. It's night culture here, though.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Not the kind of culture I need.
no.
Sorry.
We needed some knife culture,
Yeah.
even if it was just pocket knife. We needed it
It's
nonetheless.
pocket dreams.
Knife culture to spread like a butter knife culture spread.
I can't believe it's not spread.
I can't believe it's not spread butter.
I can't believe it's not culture.
Excuse me while I sip this drink. We get introduced to his little sister Danny.
Who proceeds to spook him in his own closet after listening in on him mooching about Allison.
On his pillow.
Yeah. And then proceeds to tell him that, oh, you have to take me trick-or-treating. Which he refuses, obviously, because he's an angsty teen with, literally nothing else to do in his life.
Yeah, and I want to point this out because this is, I know it's probably like little like detail, but to me it's impressive. The fact that this dude actually played he legit played the drum kit that was in his room. It wasn't like an overdub with a tight shot of the camera in there where he's just like, oh, I'm gonna fake this. No, he's playing that fucking kit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if Omri Katz, the actor that played Max, actually played drums. It was obvious that he either did or he learned it just enough to play that part. But that was a nice touch. I like when that shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I laughed whenever he did the thing where he refused flat out because he just like, yeah, want to bet. Drumsticks down. He just climbs up like a couple flights of his stairs that's in the top
And
room.
broods.
Dude, holy shit though. When Thora Birch, when Danny, when she fucking screams, oh my god, when she screams, dude. It's like, I hope, it was obvious they had double pane glass because that shit would have shattered.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking bad.
That was like a good, horror trope right there, that scream.
True enough.
I mean, honestly.
So, they go trick-or-treating, which he fucking runs into Jay and Ice again with all these other fuckholes that are just kind of gathered around, creepily stealing candy from kids.
Right.
Like, there's nothing creepy about that at all. You stop and pay the toll, kid. Like, really? What if you didn't have fucking candy? What then?
You got any Nikes?
Mike and Nikes.
Yeah.
Candy shoes. You got any of those Mike and Nikes?
You got some gummy soles
Yes.
for support?
Got any of that shoestring candy, buddy? Motherfuckers, dude.
Such airheads. They're out of control.
Oh, man. My joke was a milk dud. Fuck.
What a whopper of a...
What a whopper. Oh, shit. But, yeah, so she basically is just like, 90s insults, 8-year-old child insults, drop dead, moron. She's like, oh,
I got my big brother here.
Yeah. And he just fucking walks over, and they just look at him. They're like, oh, it's Hollywood. Ooh. And, just being shits about it. I fucking love it. He's like,
and what are you supposed to be? And she's like, for your information.
He was like a new kid on the block.
She's like, for your information, he's a little slugger.
He's a little eager. He could have been a little slugger, though, with oh my God, if he just carried a bat.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he should have just had a bat. Then he could have fucking whooped their asses right there. Which,
ironically, he had a bat at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But not fast forwarding too far.
Yeah.
So the end of the movie.
Right. So, yeah, that happens, and he just finally gives in. He's like, you know what? Fuck it, pig out. He shoves a bag of candy in there. And then he berates her for embarrassing him in front of all the people at school, and they shortly, make up thereafter, and then they go into this fucking big-ass house, which just happens to be Allison's parents' house that they host, giant Halloween get-together every year, and this is back in the 90s when you could just walk into somebody's fucking house.
And steal candy.
Yeah, we were just pointing that shit out. We're just like, oh, these motherfuckers just walked in.
And then here comes Allison down the stairs.
That's right.
Looking like, what's her nuts from Pirates of the Caribbean.
What's her nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, Keira Knightley.
But the character, I couldn't think
of her name either, but that was funny, like, what's her nuts?
Elizabeth. Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I thought of every time I see that scene is just, she looks like Keira Knightley as Elizabeth.
Just coming down the stairs, a big fucking, like,
Dun-dun-dun,
over the top dress.
I love that puppet.
It's got to be the greatest pirate I've ever seen.
So it would seem.
Dun 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 dun. But yeah, so she comes down the stairs, dun 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 dun, and Danny pretty much outs Max for talking. Look, this movie's a PG film, but this is definitely an explicit tagged podcast. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say she pretty much calls him out for talking about her titties,
saying how much he likes them.
Yabos.
Really likes to touch them.
I've legit never heard before or since the term yabos.
And we've heard some terminology.
Yabo dabo do.
That's what he says every night to Wilma.
Mm-hmm. Oh my fucking God.
What?
I'm gonna get Flint stoned.
They said I made that cunt. I'm like, whoa.
Wait, no, I said oh my fucking God.
Okay.
No, God no. So
he wants Wilma.
Wilma. Wilma. Ah! the horn that blows for the end of the workday is definitely not the work horn.
No, that's the bed rocking.
That's right. If the bed's rocking, don't come a knocking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What, you thought there was a joke behind that?
No.
Dino.
Dino. All that rubble. So, any fucking way. They discuss the Sanderson sisters because Danny is like all into him and shit. So it turns out that Vanessa's relatives, or I say Vanessa Shaw, that's the actress, my bad. So Allison, her relatives own the history museum of it, or they run the Sanderson house because it's now a museum.
Which is ironically shut down for spooky reasons.
That's right. So they go there.
Because Max was like, my dick is talking. Here, Allison, let's go.
Yeah.
Prove me wrong. Prove me dong. Yeah.
That's his dick talking.
Yep.
So they go to the fucking place and yeah.
Proceed to snoop.
Snoop the loop. Snoop and spoop.
Yep.
So I pointed out something that I just wish. When he gets the fucking lighter, when he gets the Zippo, it's just automatically filled up with fucking lighter fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Just lights that fucker right up. So they're looking around, they see the book. Oh, what happens? Black flame candles right there.
What do you do with this? Virgin lighted, make witches come back.
Let's fucking light that shit up.
Don't do that.
The fucking candle gets lit. Like, lit, son.
And then what happens? Oh, cackling women come through the door. Oh my God, it's the Sanderson sisters.
Guys, what would happen if every time, it doesn't even matter if it's a black flame candle. What would happen if you just lit a candle and just women showed up at your doorstep?
Like those candles in the grocery aisle?
Yeah, just any fucking candle.
Light a candle. Oh shit, it's the Virgin Mary.
Oh shit, it's some witches. And oh shit, it's just whoever, really.
Whoever's on the actual candle.
Oh my fuck, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's Jesus.
Oh god, all the Jesus candles that are lined up.
Yeah, the Mexicans that make them. Well, I don't know who they make
Dude.
them, but yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, it's like a bunch of, Spanish candles, and they have like deities on them of like Virgin Mary and God and Jesus.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
so it's like you light it up and it's like, oh shit, it's Jesus.
Okay,
Oh
so
shit, it's that boy.
I got it. I'm gonna buy a candle, light that motherfucker up, and I'm gonna hear open up the door. It's fresh laundry.
Wow.
It's cinnamon sticks.
Hold on one second, light this one up. Oh shit, it's an ocean wave.
Holy damn it.
Damn.
Damn it. So black flame candle gets lit. All these light bulbs explode, and we were all just sitting there like, why doesn't he just blow the fucking thing out?
That's not the first thing you think of, honestly, when you're panicking, but yeah, like, oh shit, I did this fucked up thing.
I fucked up. I done fucked up, y'all.
But we got proven, wrong. If you light it, that's it. That's all you have to do.
Get lit, son.
Yeah, you have to have it blown out. It ain't gonna do shit.
So the Sanderson sisters show the fuck up, roll in that bitch, and they're like, we are home, motherfuckers.
I don't know why I thought of Colonel Sanderson sisters.
Oh my fucking god. Kentucky Fried Witches.
Hocus Chocus.
Hocus Chocus chicken. Oh shit.
That was foul.
Yeah. It was very foul.
Bacock.
Bacock!
So yeah, they stroll through all happy and glee to be back in the world.
And I just love that Sarah stops right in the doorway. My lucky rat tail, just where I left it.
And honestly, I thought when she was reaching up, I thought she was like measuring like the distance from her head up to see like how far her noose was or something. Like, I don't know why.
Oh, like when you very first watched it?
Yeah, like whenever her hand like moved up, I thought, oh, sorry, other hand on her neck, and then her other arm went up, and I was like, was she measuring the noose distance or something?
She's doing the Freddie Mercury pose.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, whoosh, up in the air.
Ratty. Ooh.
So the first fucking thing that happens is they smell children because, these motherfuckers are up in that bitch. Oh, I forgot to mention, the cat, Binks, tries to fucking stop Max from lighting the candle before he lights it. Yeah. So they find Danny, and they're trying to get her, and, they actually escape. They get the fuck out of there.
But Max has a little trick up his sleeve. He proceeds to, get the girls out, and they grab the book. But he goes up to the top of the, the ceiling and whatnot, and he's like telling, I'm a powerful wizard. I have the magic to make acid rain hit with the flick of my wrist. And he lights his lighter at a little, fire sprinkler, and just showers the witches, and they're like freaking the fuck out, and they're like trying to avoid being burned by this quote acid rain, right?
Yeah.
And
makes fire with his hand.
Allison and them, they grab the book, they leave, and they take off, and then Winifred's just like, hold on, bitches.
Tis but water.
Tis but only water. And Mary's like, quite refreshing.
Oh my god. But funny when you said flick of the wrist, I thought about that fucking song, Flick of the Wrist, but the Freddy Krueger version.
Mm-hmm.
Shining blades, shining blades, shining blades. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist. So they get the fuck out. And obviously there's comedy sprinkled in throughout this movie. And I thought one of the funniest fucking parts was when they get out of there you see like the fire department people coming out of the house, and they're just like, "Oh, I hate Halloween. It's like the worst night of the year." And like, what is that? And then Winnie Sanderson's all like, "They're witch hunters. Notice they dressed all in black with axes to chop off
your heads."
Yeah. And then right as they're saying that, Sarah just looking on the side. "No, what a pretty spider!"
And that's when she became Spider-Woman.
That's right. Which the last name
Parker
is, God damn it.
Spider-Woman.
Oh, yeah. So, that fucking happens.
But as the movie progresses, you notice that they're so behind on times. I mean, 300 years is a lot of progression, basically. Everything is new to them. So they proceed to go onto the road.
I think this is right when the fire people show up, too, like right there. But, yeah, that's... they go to the fucking road.
And they're like, what is this Black River?
They just shove Sarah onto it. She's like, ah!
It's sturdy.
It's a road. But what made me laugh is that like Winnie and Mary just look at each other like, yeah, fuck this bitch. They just shove her onto the fucking thing. Like, she'll drown. She's young. Mm-hmm. Or she'll swim.
She's dumb.
But yeah, that happens. And I think not long after that is when...
That's when they go to the graveyard.
Yeah. So they go to the graveyard and... that's where Allison finally figures out, oh, you're Binks the cat. So the legend is true. And you're sitting there thinking, bitch, how did you not know this whole fucking time? Like,
I mean, you obviously studied up on the lore and everything.
Well, not just that. You studied up on the lore. You see the sisters are back. And you notice the black cat. The black cat is hanging out with you. And you're just like...
conversing with you.
This has got to be the fucking cat. Mm-hmm. What other... and she's like, so you're Thackeray Binks, I've got about 3 other kitty cat friends that I talk to like this. I just had to be sure it was you.
Nah, bitch, I'm Felix.
Felix the cat.
What you talking about?
Sylvester the cat.
Thuffer and fuck that.
Thuffer and fuck my ass.
But yeah, Thackeray. Sorry.
You're good.
Scratching my leg. Proceeds to show them Billy's grave, which they explained to the kids that...
Billy Butcherson.
He was the past lover of Winifred, but then cheated on her with Sarah, which I pointed out. First of all, Winifred's not much of a looker, to be honest with you.
We love Bette Midler, but let's be honest, this character...
But damn, come on now. So I don't really blame Billy for making a move on Sarah. I mean, shit.
Billy Butcherson here with Witch Begone.
But wait, there's a whore.
Wait, there's whores. So, yeah. We get backstory on that. And I think not long after that is when they fucking, like, raise him out of the grave, right? Where they show up.
Winnie summons him out of the grave, and he's basically sewn his mouth shut so that he can never speak any secrets about Winifred at all. And she's like... go and fetch them for me. And there were so many fucking like creative insults that I couldn't keep up with all of them, but she threw out some insults and he was like,
yeah, he's
fuck
like,
you.
fuck this.
Proceeds to chase him basically all over the place up until they go, well, we gotta go back and talk to mom and dad.
Dude, there was a funny fucking scene in that graveyard though when Billy first gets like, I know we're kind of like treading over some of the other parts of the film, but I mean, like, we're getting to the gist of some of the key moments and the funny shit that happened too.
Yep.
So when she raises him out of the grave, the instant he sits up out of the grave and looks over, because Danny, Allison, Max, and Thackeray are all in a line sitting down, and probably one of the funniest scenes in the film is they look. Even the cat, they all scream, but the cat's eyes are huge and his mouth is just hanging wide open.
Just Macaulay Culkin, all 4 of them.
Yeah, this is on the Instagram page also.
Mm-hmm. I even posted on mine because it's just like, when that Kush, man, is just so strong.
Like, holy shit!
You started seeing some real freaky shit.
Holy shit! When the fur flies.
Yep.
Fuck. So they escape. They knock his head off, and this is kind of a running gag. He keeps losing his fucking head.
Yeah, he thought he was ahead in life. But
that's right. But he really was not. He was not.
Heads will roll.
So they escape, and I think at this point is when they're in the like the little sewer area trying to get the fuck away, because the girls, witches, wind up going and finding a bus.
This contraption, what does it do? Yeah, and the bus driver is literally flirting with all three of them.
He's like, this will take you to like your, the place where you're just like the place where you have like your desires or whatever.
And then all of a sudden, Winifred's like, "We desire children," and
God damn,
the fucking bus driver was just like, "Well, I mean, may take a couple of tries, but I'll try."
The humor that goes right over your head as a child, then you watch it years later and you're just like, these are pretty fucking brilliant lines.
This was PG.
Yeah, but it was funny as shit, though. Even Aiden, when he was watching this earlier, was like, this is Disney. I was like, yeah, dude.
No lie.
No, this is Disney, buddy, I promise. So, the reason I was saying that is because once we figure out that Thackeray, well, I say we figure out, Danny and the rest of them figure out that Binks is immortal because, they go pop out of the sewer manhole cover, and of course Sarah's riding in the front with the bus driver.
Shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
On his shotgun.
That's what they're calling it these days.
Yeah. About to bust a nut.
Yeah, bust a nut. Yeah. They go found some of his, what was it? This bust a nut bar.
Yeah.
We'll drink some of this booty sweat I found back at the camp. So
Binks gets out of the sewer and
they run him over.
Yeah, too tired. He's too tired.
He really fell flat on that mission.
Mm-hmm. His inflated ego just
for real.
Yep. This is a catastrophe.
He almost had it by a whisker.
Mm.
But yeah. He took a pause for the cause. Just take a nap.
A cat nap.
Yeah. Sorry, Binks. Anyway, so the rest of them get out of the manhole cover and they freak out and they're just like, oh fuck.
They boo-hoo.
Yeah, and then he's just like, the funniest sounding inflation ever.
Yeah, because whenever I inflate my tires, I don't hear woo.
And you hear like the ribs cracking back into place, and you're just like,
he's like, I hate when that happens.
Right? He's like, I told you I can't die. He sounded like Stewie from Family Guy when he said this. I told you I can't die.
You vile woman.
Ooh, you bitch. But yeah. So that happens, and the witches get off at a sidewalk, and I think this is where they find that house because all the kids are around trick-or-treating right now. And you said that they wound up going to the cops. I think this was like afterwards. Like the kids go to the cops.
Or do they go to a cop?
Yeah, that was really not a cop because his ass was impersonating a police officer.
Illegally.
Oh, big time. Like, I could see it where it's like, oh, blue button-up shirt. Oh, fake plastic badge. No, this motherfucker had motorcycle with the fucking lights on it, the helmet, the real badge, everything. And you're just like, how'd your bitch ass not get arrested? Like, for real, for real.
Mm.
But any fucking way. So that happens, and the girls, the witches, I keep saying the girls, but really, be honest here. The girls find Master!
Just some dude in his underwear dressed up as Satan.
Yeah. Oh my god. And that little trick-or-treater with the angel costume on. Bless you. They fucking screech. But they go inside, and some of the more comedic stuff takes place in here. Like some of the shit that would fly over your head as a child, but you watch it years later, and you're like, this is really funny. Like they go in, and guy dressed up like Satan, his wife got the fucking curlers in her hair, and they mistake her for Medusa, and it's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Winifred goes to the kitchen and sees like the meat tenderizer on the table. She's like, a torture chamber. So fucking ridiculous, dude.
So after that, homeboy gets asked by Sarah to dance in the middle of the living room, all while in the other room Mary's like tripping out over this TV commercial with this little kid, like the old commercial with the kid running through the house on the little walker chasing a dog. And she's just like freaking out, like
with a mouthful of Cheeto Puffs. And then the wife gets mad and starts trying to kick them all out.
And she starts like pointing the remote at the wife, like trying to turn her off.
That was probably one of the greatest fucking scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just angrily like pushing, like, why is this not fucking working?
So yeah, the wife gets them to go like towards the door, and they're like, "You can't make us leave." And she calls her little Yorkie dog to come freaking chase him out
with the fucking devil wings on.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was hilarious. So they get the fuck out. Like, get the fuck out.
Yep.
And their brooms are stolen because some trick-or-treating kids that look just like them, which is funny. That was a nice little, funny thing where it's like, oh, every child that stole those brooms were together dressed just like they were.
Yep.
Peace out.
Oh, cool.
Brooms. And you don't see it happen, but you assume from the sound that they flew off on the brooms.
Yep. They were swept away by the coolness.
That's right. It was a cool breeze.
Yeah.
Gone, bye-bye. So anyway, they come back out, and I think this is where they do the calming circle. Because that was funny as shit. I have come. No, sister. I'm not being honest with thyself.
No, the calming circle was after the grave, like right after the graveyard.
No, I could have. Okay, well, I could have sworn it was. No, because they did do the calming circle, and that's where they went in to see Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so after that, oh my fucking god, I have to point this shit out. When they were inside, I think Aiden had the line of the night watching this movie with us. The wife looks at the women, looks at the Sanderson sisters, and she's like, "Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?" And Aiden, without missing a fucking beat, "Aren't you a little old to exist?"
Because this bitch was vile, man. Like, she was a cunt.
Aren't you a little old to exist?
And the three of us are just
clapping away. God.
Brought a tear to our eyes.
Proud dad moment.
Yep.
He was just so just blunt and dry. Like, aren't you a little old to exist?
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think not long after this is the Halloween ball that all the parents are going to. And that's where the kids are just like, okay, we got to warn every motherfucker that's in this town. Where are they going to be at? The Halloween ball. Let's fucking go. So they get there, and apparently the band Ghost is on stage. I'm throwing this out there for those of you that have ever listened to Ghost or know who this band is. The singer of this fucking lounge band that's on stage looks like the singer from Ghost in the makeup, and it's funny as shit. But anyway, I digress. They get into this place, and they wind up finding the dad and the mom, Max and Danny's mom and dad. They're like, can we just talk about how the dad very lazily dressed up like Dracula?
Well, yeah, he had like his pajamas on with a cape and makeup, like
what
literally.
The fuck.
And then the mom was literally the '80s Madonna with the cone freaking bra and
titty
everything.
cone.
Yeah.
There's honeycomb, and then there's titty cones. Comb, cone. Just saying. It's funny. Laugh.
Ha! Okay.
Ha!
Okay.
So, as usual, they're just like, you guys are lying. You're eating too much candy and all this other shit. So Max bombards the stage, takes the microphone, and he points them out in the crowd because they've been followed there.
There's those bitches right there.
Right fucking there. And then we get like the musical number that literally everybody knows by now. It's I put a spell on you. And now you're mine. Now you're gone. Whatever the fuck. And meanwhile, one of the plots of the film is that they put spells on people by singing to them, or they put them in a trance by singing to them. And so at the end of the number, they basically say out into the microphone, dance until you die. So legit, everybody in that fucking place was just zombified dancing at this
Partying
point.
hard, man.
Motherfucker. Party rock was in that house.
About to have a good time.
That's right. And mind-numbingly having a good time. Because it's like, yeah, fucking, we're here. Here's the part that I pointed that pissed me off, okay? So they do all this shit, right? then they go to lure the sisters to a school. That's not the part that pisses me off. It's after this. They lure the sisters to the school, and the plan is to get them into what y'all pointed out was the pottery.
There's a kiln.
Yeah, so they put them in, like, it's just a giant, looking like a giant incinerator, basically, or just whatever.
A giant easy bake oven.
Yeah, or the creepy crawler oven, the creepy bake oven for witches.
For witch bitches.
That's right. So they cook these motherfuckers, and they, because they fooled them. And what cracked me up, the funny part about that was they lured them in there with this this tape in a boombox talking like different languages. They would have like Spanish and then French and English, where it was like, oh, do you have your library card? And then like the Spanish and French translations, and I would like to buy a book. All this other crap. So they're listening, and they're like, what the fuck? They get trapped and incinerated. Then Danny, Allison, Max, and Binks, they celebrate. And Max is just like, hey, you're one of us now. Like, basically like, hey, the cat is ours. So they go home. Mm-hmm. And Danny, holding Binks, is just like, Mom, Dad, we got a new cat. Kind of like basically going, where are you at? And it's like, fuckers, you literally just left the ball that they were at. You heard the Sanderson sisters singing, putting them all in a trance. You fucking left. You fucking know they're there under a spell. But you're going to mindlessly go, where are you?
Or do they know? Because,
I would think.
Movie magic-wise, nobody knows.
Of all people, I think they would. But you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of one of those little plot holes I found. I was just like, what the fuck? Mm. So, anyway, they stay there, and they're assuming that the Sanderson sisters are null and void.
Oh, boy, they are wrong.
Oh, but wait, there's more.
Because this big green smoke cloud from the chimney comes right back down into the kiln, and they throw the door down. Guess what? Bitches are back.
The reason they're back, though, is because Danny is asleep with Binks. So Allison and Max try to help Binks by seeing if there's a fucking spell in the book that can break the curse.
Well, the thing is, the fire doesn't kill them because they're technically immortal.
Yeah.
So they have 24 hours or 12 hours, whatever it was, to basically get the serum or the concoction to keep them alive for the rest of eternity. So they go back to the house. They're panicky because they don't know the recipe to the stew base or the elixir. And Winifred's like losing hope. Can't figure out what to do anymore. So basically at 5 o'clock, they wake up and they're like, oh, well, we should look into this book and see if we can fix Binks. And they look into the book, and this big ass orange light just shoots out of the freaking house.
Orange!
And just like a freaking lighthouse just shoots up into the sky, like temporarily. And they're reading this book all casual and shit, not even noticing this huge glowing orange aura coming from the book. They're just like, oh, yeah, well, they have this spell.
And they were told not to open it.
Yeah. Orange light and everything. So, back at the house, the Winifred house, or the sister's house, I'm sorry. Winifred, she's, oh, woe is us, we're going to die. So she's like, Mary, bring me to the window for one last time so I can say goodbye. Goodbye.
And they're being, like, totally, like, cynical about the whole fucking thing, too.
And she looks out the window, and she happens to look out, and there's the fucking book.
The book.
Which you pointed out. Man, that was a fucking distance, man.
Dude, yeah. Like, okay, so you have to think, guys. They go from Allison's house right up the street to this fucking place. How the fuck were they that goddamn far away? It looked like if you looked from where they were at to the actual like light coming up, it looked like it was like 2 or 3 fucking towns over.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Like a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah. Which it's not that far of a distance drive time, really, but when you think about most of this movie, it took place on foot for the most part. Mm-hmm. Jesus. So the witches go, witches leave. So the Sanderson sisters go, bust up in that motherfucker. And I mean bust up in that bitch hardcore.
Taking Danny, taking the book, everything.
and they blew a giant fucking hole in that roof.
All after they pretty much shoot Max over his own drum kit.
That made me cry a little.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. I shed a fucking tear.
Yep.
I shed a tear.
He was like that Indian that, you know, they see litter on the ground, they're just like, he looks up and just starts crying.
It wasn't the greatest drum kit in the world, but it was still a drum kit.
It was the concept.
It was a drum kit, and I was just like, oh no. No, what is you doing?
But yeah, they basically like Dragon Ball Z out of that fucking skylight and proceed to have Sarah serenade all the kids in town to come to the house so they can suck their souls for the night.
Yeah, and we'll definitely get to a point where it's just like the plot holes become bigger. Meanwhile, while all this has happened, Jay and Ice have been kidnapped by the Sandersons, which they're held up in cages at the house. So they've lured the kids, obviously, like you said.
Yep.
So Max and Allison come up with a plan of attack where they get like salt and all this other shit like that. And they go to the Sanderson house, and he just busts up in the door because they obviously have, you know, Max and they obviously have Danny and Binks, which fuck, dude, Binks in the little bag. He's like, like punching.
Don't drink it, Danny.
Yeah, don't drink it. He's like sitting there, hot cat, like he's over the fire and shit. But anyway, they bust in there and they save him because he's like, you know, what does he tell her? He says something like, "Oh, I have the power of knowledge" or some shit. And he's like, "Daylight savings," and they're all fucking like just cackle laughing at the daylight savings quote. Like, what the fuck? Light comes through the window, and they are like
tripping out again.
Mm-hmm. Turns out it's just the headlights from the Explorer that's outside.
Very stunt-based Explorer that is very incapable of doing the things that normally wouldn't do.
This is true.
So
they ran over that fucking sign. I just want to know who's gonna fix the skyline that they just put in the house. Who the fuck's gonna fix the damn sign that got knocked over by the Ford Explorer outside?
And also, who's gonna fix that graveyard?
No shit.
That undug grave for Billy.
They fucked up a lot of shit in this movie.
Yeah. That drum kid too.
Dude. You know what? You know what would be really fucking hilarious? If we find a movie like this again, not like this, but another movie where shit gets destroyed. We should keep a running tally of like the amount of fucking damage that was done cost wise.
Kind of like the kill count on that one YouTube channel.
Yeah. Like, fucking just tally up the receipt and be like, Sanderson sisters, you owe all this fucking money.
Cha-ching.
That you don't really have, but you fucking owe some money to fix this shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they wind up getting out of there, and the Sandersons are like, oh fuck, we were tricked again. Basically.
Like dumbasses.
Oh, but the best part about it was Max taking his motherfucking shoes back from Ice.
Mm-hmm.
Not before kicking the fucking cauldron of
elixir.
Yeah, kicking that bitch over. And they only had like one dose left. And here's what you pointed out that was really goddamn hilarious.
So they grabbed the elixir, right? And the kids are basically taken off back to the town, and here comes all the other kids in town zombified back to the Sandersons' house.
It's like the Walking Dead up in this bitch.
Here's my problem. How is it that they have one vial left and they don't use it on any of the kids coming to the house? They have to go to the kid that's going away from them when they only have less than an hour left.
Vengeance is a motherfucker.
If you're that desperate to live and you need the soul of a child, why do you have to go after that one child when you have like 20,000 of them coming your way?
Oh yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I get it's movie magic. I understand Disney's trying to make like extension of the film. I understand all that shit. That's not my problem. My problem is my mind works differently than they do. So please explain the logic here. There is no fucking logic.
You couldn't suspend disbelief for that moment.
No. It's like you have the means to fix what you need to fix right there in front of you, but you go away from it. Further away.
Yep, exactly. Because I had that problem too. I was just like, I was sitting there just like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this shit?
But yeah, they all eventually go back to the graveyard. They go to Billy's grave where he already, been eviscerated from. They put salt ring around it and put Danny inside of it.
Oh yeah, because I think by this point he had cut the Yeah, because they followed them to the graveyard because there was like a little truck chase that happened.
Right.
They get there and he winds up running. Max winds up running into Billy. And I think Winifred shows up right outside the gate because they can't set foot on the grounds.
Yeah, it's sacred ground.
So he gets in there, and I don't remember who had the pocket knife.
It was Max.
That's right, yeah, because Billy takes it, kind of holds him, and he slits his own mouth open so he can talk, which, fun fact, and it's funny as well. When Billy opens his mouth and the moths fly out, those are actual moths. They're not, like, fake or anything.
So he put moths in his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that happens, and he just is like, tells her, like, go to hell, and she delivers that line. Oh, I've been there, thank you. I found it quite lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Or, no, I'm sorry, that was later on. But basically, he tells her off, and they fucking leave, and they put him in... I think they put him in the... that's when they put her in the grave, right?
Right. Surrounded by the salt,
yeah.
So she's protected. And then they have their final stand with the sisters, and, Winifred goes after Billy and kicks his head off like a freaking football.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Yep. Plop.
Kicked. That was a great Killer Clowns scene. Jesus fuck.
But yeah, then Max takes a baseball bat to Winnie and fucking loses it like a fucking dumbass. Grabs Max and then, tosses him aside. Immediately after Billy's head is rolling, fucking Danny gets out of the grave to go give it back to Billy, being outside the protection.
Now she's susceptible to being kidnapped again.
And somehow Winifred drops the vial onto the ground, and then Max picks it up and wants to smash it, but then Winifred has Danny in, hostage situation. So she's like, give me the vial back or I kill her. And he's like, no, if you don't let her go, I'll break this. So there's a choice. What does he do? He drinks the vial. So he becomes a target for the soul sucking. And, Winifred grabs him before time runs out. And he's fighting, trying to get everything taken, away from her and everything like that so they can die in the sunlight. And she's like, help me, sisters. And freaking Mary, on her vacuum cleaner.
God, that was hilarious.
Flies towards her, and Billy, Danny, and Allison grab the plug-in that's still hanging from the vacuum and hold her back so she doesn't go near him. And
Sarah flies along and tries to help tug her.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they wind up letting go, and they fly the fuck away, like right directly towards the sun.
Right.
Meanwhile, Winifred and Max are fighting on the broom, and she's trying to suck his soul. I think they fall off at this point.
Yeah.
And she hits the ground. Dude, holy fuck.
She makes a good first impression.
Yes. She ate shit so fucking hard in that grass. I mean, I'm talking, it was just like, ah! Max hits, boom. She hits, like, I'm talking like real fucking hard.
This is like Looney Tunes impression whenever like Wile E. Coyote hits the ground.
God,
goes straight
yes.
through the ground. But yeah, proceeds to grab Max, continues, and then it's like, nope, it's too late. The sun's already out.
Yeah, and that's the fucked up part too, is like, not only is the sun out, she's on the ground. So she's starting to become stone because she stepped foot on hollow ground, or hollow ground. So she's, from the feet up, getting basically just destroyed. So Mary and Sarah just explode. And then, of course, Winifred yells for Book one more time before being turned to complete stone.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and meanwhile, while all this has happened, Binks had tried to jump on Winifred, and she threw that little fucker, and he just cracked right on a rock and fell over.
Died.
He did. We told you he did.
And then Danny proceeds to, wake up, Binks. You did it before. You died and you came back. And then
that's the tearjerker moment.
The spirit of Binks pops up.
And you're like, holy shit, he got his fucking accent back.
And his soul is freed.
Can we please talk about that? His accent fluctuates throughout the whole fucking movie while he's a cat.
Yeah, he's very English at one point, and then he sounds very like colonial.
Oh, God, dude, he's yes. God.
He's like, don't touch the book, and then in some parts he's like, do not touch the book. It's not consistent.
It is not.
It's not consistent.
But yeah.
Sister comes out from the spirit world and is like, oh, Thackeray Binks, where are you? I'm right here. And they walk into the gate while the other three are just watching them go. She's like, where have you been? It's been 300 years. And I was like, well, I waited 300 years for a virgin to light a candle. And it's like, can you make it any more obvious about a fucking virgin?
Yeah. It's like, hey, let's make fun of this dude for being a virgin, being a teen, being a virgin.
For not sticking his dick in there, sorry.
That's right. Yeah.
That's one way of Disney being a dick to him.
Roll credits. Because everybody lives happily after, you know?
Even the adults who finally snap out of their all-nighter of dancing.
Yeah, just kind of, you know, drunkenly, probably, more than likely drunkenly come out of this fucking place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in a nutshell, that's Hocus Pocus.
Right.
Which a lot of you out there kind of hail as, like, you know, one of the, if not like the greatest, like, family Halloween film of the 90s. Which is hard to argue that.
Rightfully so.
It's hard to argue that. And I love this movie. I got to see this in theaters whenever I was a child. Whenever I was 7, I got to see this in theaters.
I think I first saw it on DVD.
A lot of people
that was years ago.
Yeah, a lot of people either saw it like that or they saw it on like the Disney Channel or, you know, ABC Family or, you know, whoever airs it or whatever. But it's hilarious. I saw it in theaters and then, you know, like I've said it before a million times on the show, but like I grew up in a video store. So I actually had a VHS screener copy of this film and I wore that tape out. Wore that fucker out watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Hocus Pocus. And we move on from Salem all the way to a little town in Missouri called Briarville. Guys, Ernest Scared Stupid. A lot of you out there have really shit on this movie and Ernest in general as a character. But allow me to say this before we get started. It's gonna sound ridiculous, but hear me out. I feel like there are certain levels of intelligence as a child you had when you would watch movies like this, because there was a little bit of everything in an Ernest film. There were, you know, the dorky kind of, you know, physical comedy, as I call it. But dude, like some of the lines that get thrown out were really clever, really funny, really quippy, really quick. It's one of those, like, you have to really listen for it because it'll slide like right under the radar. There's a few lines in the movie we'll, you know, say, but
yeah.
Goddamn. The opening credits are basically a lot of shots of Jim Varney in the Ernest P. Worrell character reacting to all these classic like 50s and 60s horror films, you know, black and white horror films, and that's just the opening credits. Well, then the movie actually opens up, and how it says it's really funny. Briarville, long ago. And I want to say that it's supposedly 200 years prior.
200 years prior.
Yeah, exactly. But this is what makes me laugh, is that it's supposed to be 200 years. There's a troll chasing this child. The troll gets kidnapped, and the townspeople bury the troll under this tree, who curses the Worrell, which is Ernest's great-great-grandfather, who's going to bury him under this fucking tree. And he's just like, you know, hey, here he shall be buried, and the roots will seal his fate, you know. And the troll Trantor curses him, and he's just like, hey, you know, basically like, you know, one with the blood in your name, you know, will release me.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically had put a curse on him to where, like, all the descendants of the Worrell family just got stupider and stupider as it fucking went on and on. So we enter Ernest as this is being said, which, like you pointed out, Hocus Pocus and this movie have like a little bit of similarities in them, because this all happens, and it just so happens that one of the main characters, the child, Elizabeth, is reading this on a report for the class that she's in elementary school.
Yeah, like both films open up literally the exact same way. Some historic event happens to where the main villain gets, cast aside or banned or whatever, and then they wake up and it's actually a story being read out by somebody in a school environment. It's like literally cookie cutter of each other.
Yeah. So we get introduced to her. We get introduced to we get introduced to Binder, which they always call him Binder, and I think it's funny, Kenny. Mm-hmm. So we get introduced to him, and then the two asshole brothers of the sons of the mayor. So she basically talks about how, which they all argue, of course, like just like in Hocus Pocus, how you had the one naysayer, then you have, the naysayers, which are the mayor's sons, who are assholes, obviously. Yeah. So she talks about how the descendants of Phineas Worrell would get dumber, dumber, dumber. Enter Ernest, who is on a garbage truck. This fucked up contraption with all these mops going into buckets and all this other shit, and he's just talking about how great he is at this fucking job, and there's like all this other shit, and Rimshot the dog is like lifting him up on the forks on the front of the garbage truck, and well, it wouldn't be true Ernest fashion without the machines going haywire.
Of course not.
He's in a whirl of shit because he gets knocked into the fucking garbage truck. And let me just say, guys out there, ladies out there, people out there, everybody listening to this, I once worked for a how should I put this, I use air quote reputable garbage company, so I know how these motherfuckers work. And one of my nightmares in cleaning these sons of bitches out was getting trapped in the back of them, and Ernest P. Worrell lives out my nightmare. He falls into this motherfucker, and it just starts to,
into the compactor.
Yep, into the compactor of the back of the truck, and it starts to cycle. So we get a really comedic moment of him trying to put you were laughing at the fucking muffler going up against the damn wall.
He was going Han Solo on that.
Dude, yes!
Like, that was the first thought, because, that's pretty much anybody's thought process. When two walls are coming between you, just put something between it. I automatically think of the trash compactor scene from A New Hope. So
Garb Wars.
Yeah.
But what makes me laugh is like he did that, wound up bending, shoves a shovel like between them, handle breaks. Then he just looks around and he finds this doll. And one of my favorite fucking parts in this. No, don't stick my head in those gears. But it's me or you. But I have a family at the com factory. I'll send him a nice card. Throws the fucking doll into the gears. You'll never get away with this, Ernest. I know where you live. So fucking funny.
Suddenly the baby went Mexican.
That's pretty much.
I know where you live.
I know where you live. And so he winds up just getting squished in this motherfucker. Elizabeth and Kenny wind up rolling onto it. And I think was it before it was not long before this was Ernest was while Elizabeth was like giving the rest of that speech, Ernest had driven by the window dragging somebody behind him in the garbage truck, just kind of give you an idea of how inept he is at times.
It's like, speaking of,
but anyway, so he gets trapped in the back of the truck, and the kids wind up finding Rimshot just hanging out in the driver's seat, and they open the back, and Ernest comes out looking like a big ass trash tofu cube.
Put him in some miso soup.
Dude, and it was so fucked up because, like, you see his head and he's just talking gibberish, but his feet are turned and all fucked up, cartoony looking, mind you.
And then proceeds to fall face first.
That made me hurt so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Just, oof. Fucking.
Got a face full of asphalt.
Face down, asphalt up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just trash talking here.
It was no one's asphalt but his own.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So the kids get in the truck with him and they're driving off because the mayor's bitching to the sheriff about Ernest not cleaning up the Hackmore place. Which, this is old lady Hackmore, who turns out to be, she's Frances, who turns out to be, in the beginning of the movie, whenever Trantor gets kidnapped, she's one of the children, and the mother is like, oh, we'll get them back, Frances, you'll see, talking about her siblings. This was supposed to be like 200 something fucking years ago. Are we to believe, at that time, she had to have been maybe 7 or 8, are we to believe at this time that Eartha Kitt's character, Frances Hackmore, is that goddamn old?
When she maybe looks like in her 50s or 60s.
Yeah, and I want to say at this time, she may have been in her late 60s, early 70s by the time this movie was made, if I remember right. We were talking about, the original Catwoman on the Batman series back then. Yeah. So, any fucking way, he's bitching about the Hackmore place being a dump, and he winds up finding Ernest and pulling him over and telling him to get out there, berates the children for being in the truck. So he goes out, and this is where we actually get introduced to Eartha Kitt's character. Like, properly introduced.
She comes out with like a blowtorch or something in her hand.
Oh my god. And it's a dump, too.
Yeah. It's like a freaking metal shop / art gallery, because she has like all this like freaking junk metal everywhere, and her door looks like a torture device, like this weird like hand, like metal piece as a knocker. So he walks up to the door, he just slaps the hand. He's like, oh, well, nobody's home.
Yeah, barely even like, don't do, like, he's like, well, guess nobody's home, and just like immediately turns around.
Mm-hmm.
God, and she comes out and she's like, aren't you that Whirl kid? Yes, ma'am. And she basically starts talking about how he's gonna bring the fucking, curses back and all this. And what did she say? He was like, ma'am, I'm a representative of the Briarville, Missouri government or office or some shit like that. Basically telling her he's there to clean her shit up. And, he's like, I provide a service for the citizens. And she's like, well, then you'd be a dead citizen. Just going off on all this shit, talking about how they're going to have to take him and the rest of this backwood town and load him onto a meat wagon with a pitchfork. And he's all, so what you're saying is it might be better if I just came back tomorrow. She flips out and just blow torches at him.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. Of course, then we get introduced how, like, Joey, who is, like, one of the newer kids that pop up, is Joey and Elizabeth and Kenny, who are trying to build a haunted house. And, of course, little bastard-ass kids.
Mayor's kids.
God. Come and wreck their shop, wreck the whole thing.
So, yeah. They proceed to walk away and defeat, and Kenny's like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, yeah, when he talks to Ernest?
So he goes to meet Ernest and asks him, like, for advice, and Ernest's like, you know what? I got some great advice. And this is where the first scene of all the personalities started popping up. So it's like him as, like some kind of, like, Roman general or something. It's two of the ladies, I can't remember the names, and then there was another character popped up. And they're all explaining to them about this random stories that don't make no sense, that basically coincide with each other. And it's like, well, what's the moral of the story? And it's like, we have to have the high ground. Yeah, because it's like, there's an Ottoman, there's a Botswanian, there's what's the Botswanian lumberjack? That's the funny fucking shit. There's no forest in Botswana, because I'm a Botswana.
I love that shit. There ain't no trees in Botswana. I know. I am a Botswanian lumberjack, and I ain't never had a job. Like, what the fuck, dude? So, yeah, like, pretty much that they need to build a tree house.
And which they end up doing.
Yeah, but can we talk about that funny scene? Because Ernest is jacking up the front end of one of these trucks at the shop. Well, it gives way. The whole time he's doing this, like, shtick as all these characters, that jack is bending and bending. So it finally comes down and shoots out of the front of the garage. And in a really funny scene, Kenny and Ernest turn to look in the direction it's flying, and so does every other fucking character that Jim Varney was playing.
Mm-hmm.
And then shatters the fucking back glass of the mayor.
Mind you, the glass shatters before it even gets touched by the jack.
Yes, sir.
Because you pointed that out whenever it happened. It was just like, as soon as the pan to the shot of the back of the window, it cracked and shattered. Then here comes the jack.
Right into it. Fucking mayor. Ernest! Direct hit. Mm-hmm. Way to go, Ernest. Do you smell fish? The fucking, we need dress shield. Motherfucker.
And I love that line. He's like, oh, yeah, we need to build the trios. I thought the point was to get dress shield.
Yeah, I thought we needed dress shield. Fuck, dude. I think this is another funny thing we point out. So it's Joey, Elizabeth, Kenny, and Ernest. They're going into the woods to find a tree for the tree house. So in a nutshell, one had too much bass, one was rotted. Ernest gets shat on by a bird. And then they just happen to find this fucking random ass opening where it's really sunny on one side and then the other
Dark
side,
and gloomy on the other.
Yeah, like, fog and no sun. Everything looks like grayed out.
Also, this tree looks really creepy.
Yeah, it's the only fucking tree that looks like it.
Yeah, out of the whole forest, it's the most different one of the group.
You would think. You would think.
That at least one of the kids is like, I don't think this is a good tree.
Yeah.
Because obviously Ernest wouldn't have done that.
No. But what makes me laugh is he's like, oh, this is perfect, blah, blah, blah. And so the shot pans away. They don't have a goddamn thing with them, mind you. At least that we can see. They're on foot. So the next shot is, Ernest being like, oh, I've collected this stuff for years. And it's a bunch of shit. And I'm sitting there going, man, did they walk all this junk and shit back to this tree? Because it seemed like a long walk.
Yeah, because within like a 10-minute span, they built this house like from the ground up or the tree up, basically.
Yeah, so they get it all fixed up and shit. And I think Ernest leaves. Yeah, because Hackmower, Frances comes out and finds him, and she starts berating Ernest because this is the tree that Trantor is buried under, we find out. Mm-hmm. So he leaves to go talk to her, and Murdochs, that's who they are, the Murdochs. Because I started laughing whenever he was like, guys, it's the mayor's kids.
Yeah.
He's like, guys, the Murdochs are here. And I'm sitting there just like, it's okay, they're blind.
They couldn't see it coming.
I wonder if they were relatives of Matt Murdoch. I'm just saying. But
Nelson and Murdoch.
That's it. Avocados at law. So they engage in a fight where they're just picking up rocks and throwing it at the treehouse. Well, Kenny, Elizabeth, and Joey, yeah. So they start firing back with like
cat
food and this like kind of launcher kind of thing, and then whole pizzas. Where the fuck they got these fresh pizzas? I'll never know.
From New York.
Yeah, fun fact, these pizza props were actually leftover pizza props from the Ninja Turtles sequel, Secret of the Ooze. Wow.
Mind blown.
So yeah, New York specials right in their faces, and the Murdochs actually leave, and Ernest comes back and basically tells them that Frances had warned him about the troll and all this other shit. So, stupidly, because obviously he's a dumbass at this point, fucking explains to them exactly how one would wake up Trantor the troll, and Elizabeth's catching on like, this is not a good idea.
Mm.
He's like, he can only be awoken on the night before Halloween because he's under this tree. And she's like tonight. And he says, when a whirl, she's all like you, places his hand on a tree like this and says, yea, I call thee forth, Trantor. But what are the chances of that happening?
This is an Ernest movie.
Motherfucker.
Because guess what? He does these things.
The importance of being earnest.
Yeah. He does not earn us our respect.
No. Not right now. Not at this moment. Not until later. But right now, we're just like, bro, you done fucked up big time.
Yep.
So lightning strikes and the kids get spooked and fucking leave, and it's just Ernest and Rimshot, the dog, and the tree. And they're just like, yeah, fuck this. Ernest's like, yeah, how about we go home? Troll shows up. God, I love that fucking line. I sure hope you're from Keebler. Fucker starts walking at him, and he's like, basically telling him he's wimping out, like crawling away from him. And he's like, I know Tai Chi, Kung Fu, Chow Mein, and I saw Hulkamania 3 times once in slow-mo. And the only way he gets out of it is like they kind of show. They don't explain it, but he kicks, a fucking ice chest over that has like a lot of milk in it. And the troll just kind of disappears.
Yeah.
You don't ever see him. So the kids actually run away out of the woods, and Elizabeth and Kenny fucking leave Joey behind because he's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And he winds up getting caught by Trantor because he falls into this little gully thingy. And
then turns to a wooden statue.
Yeah.
Or some kind of statue.
It's wood. It's some wooden statue shit.
Makes sense.
Little wooden doll.
Makes sense with the tree.
Yeah. So that happens. And then I was laughing my fucking ass off because I think that's not long after that is when Ernest shows up at Sheriff Binder's house. He's Kenny's dad. He's fucking knocking on the door, and you just see that point of view shot of Ernest's face where he's like, open up the door. And basically, he doesn't get believed and gets kind of kicked out, and he's just still going on, even though the door gets shut in his face. And it's a shot from inside the house when the door's shut, and you can still hear him from the outside. And I just laughed my ass off at that one line. He was just sitting there, and he's like, it was like a great. He's like, he had like two noses. It was like a giant Mr. Potato Head, only the size of a watermelon. Dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the basically that happens, and Francis finds out that he unlocked the troll, and the children of Briarville are going to be trolled hardcore
all night.
And he flips the fuck out because he finds out what all this shit is, and it's funny because he's just chicken shitting out about this whole fucking thing, talking about I'm me and he's he, and we're talking danger here. Stand and deliver, fire line, moment of truth, end of the line, 8th level Mario Brothers. I love it. She's like, you are the direct descendant of the Reverend Phineas Worrell. It's your legacy. You are the great redneck hope.
And he's just like, huh. And then the shining light rays down upon him. And then next scene is just him going through town with a megaphone. There are trolls, guys.
Fucking died.
You're all in danger.
Fucking died. Just this moment of empowerment, and the next shot is of that. And this is like the funny humor I'm talking about, that catching it later on, having that like, oh my god, this is actually brilliant, funny, because he just like the great redneck hope, hallelujah, megaphone running down the road like you just said, trolls are coming, yelling shit like make sure your shoes are on your right feet and all your furniture's pressed up against the walls and all this shit. And I think that's when he runs into the Tulip Brothers. Yeah,
and then he proceeds to tell them like what's going on. So they're like ringing him up for everything.
It's obvious they're con artists.
And it's like troll repellent, troll traps, troll this, troll that, this, and this.
I think my favorite part was when he was like, chop troll bait. What do you say?
$3 a pound. He picks up the little small package. He goes, 50 pounds.
50 pounds. Just puts it back. $3 a pound. 50 pounds.
So at the end of it all, they're like, and the total comes out to be like $1,700 and some odd dollars with tax.
Plus tax.
And he's like, but is that including the record vinyl of the Troll Serenade or whatever it was?
Yeah, the greatest love troll songs ever written.
He's like, does a rattlesnake kiss tenderly or something?
Yeah, he's like, do rattlesnakes kiss carefully?
I'm like, oh my god,
dude, you about to? And he looked so eager to drop $1,800 fucking bucks, probably after
he was
tax.
a redneck hope. He had to make sure the town was safe.
You're right.
But where does he have $1,700 plus tax?
I don't know. Maybe he asked for an advance on that garbage check.
Shit, that was garbage pay.
Like, look, guys. Yeah, exactly. Like, look, guys. I gotta troll the trolls that are trying to troll this town.
So I must troll them back.
I fucking need this weaponry.
Troll.
So this motherfucker. There's a shot of him coming down from the fucking Hackmower staircase, dressed down to the hills, looking like the Trollinator.
Trollocop.
Exactly. Trollocop. So that happens, and I think the kids show up, and this is where I fucking laugh my ass off, because like she's like, "Who are they?" And he's like, "She's a Gemini. Don't listen to what she says.
Don't be worried about her. She's just a Gemini.
She's a Gemini." Fucking died at that shit. And that's whenever he sets the troll motel up.
Yeah, the whole orange dumpster in the middle of the forest. And proceeds to explain, it was like, well, when a troll comes out hunting, it's like, man, I am so tired. I want to take a rest right here. And he proceeds to explain to them that once he goes near the troll trap, that he basically just gets caught in it. And then, proceeds to leave and gets his hand stuck, on the lid, basically. But,
yeah, the lid slams his fucking hand into it. But this is classic Ernest moment where he just looks at the camera, like breaks the fourth wall, looks at the camera, looks back at his hand, looks at the camera, looks back at his hand, looks back at the camera. Yeah! Fucking great. Fucking great, eh?
But this is, I think, where Kenny's like going to his dad to explain, like, there's trolls out. We gotta make sure something is done about it.
Yeah, I think this is where he leaves his mom's because he goes home. He gets the Murdochs come dressed as trolls and kind of fuck with him in the driveway of his house. He leaves the house to go look for his dad. And I think Trantor winds up actually finding him and another buddy of his and using Elizabeth's voice to trick him.
Yeah, because at this point didn't they get Elizabeth? Or no?
Yeah, dude. Okay, that right there. I forgot all about that shit. And I've got to say this, okay? So, Elizabeth is scared shitless, doesn't want to go to this fucking Halloween dance that's happening at the school or all this whatever the fuck's happening. Mm-hmm. And, you know, she's telling her mom, like, look, I'm freaking out. And she's like, no, this is ridiculous. We're all going to go over there together. So, okay. Typical interaction in a movie with a child and, you know, the parent that doesn't believe them. She walks out of the room. The door's open to her bedroom. She looks under the bed, grabs the bear because she was afraid something was under the bed. Nothing's under the bed. Rolls over. The troll is there. And we've already established that this little girl has got a loud scream.
Like a movie, like basically like Danny in the last film.
Yeah.
Like horror scream.
Yeah. So she screams because the troll is right there in her bed. Where the fuck was her mom? Because later on, and we'll get to it in a minute, because later on, she's sitting there and she's just like, you know, Elizabeth wouldn't climb out of her window. She didn't even want to leave the house. It's like, bitch, you didn't fucking hear your daughter upstairs screaming her fucking head off?
I was surprised half the town didn't hear her scream.
Yeah, and that's not enough time for you to run up there because you know that little motherfucker is like short, trolly, and fat. You know, he's not going anywhere. Mm-mm. You know she fucking heard that motherfucker. She probably walked upstairs. She was like, here, take this $100 bill and get rid of her.
I'm tired of her bitching.
I'm tired of this shit. I want to troll my daughter in the best way possible. With a troll.
You're far uglier than I thought you were going to be.
Yeah, no shit.
You're not the cute troll like we see on TV.
No, I thought you were going to be like a treasure troll. Just a little fucking diamond belly button, some pink ass hair sticking straight up. What the fuck happened?
No telling. Times get hard when you're a celebrity.
Dude, meth, not even once.
Mm-hmm.
And he had 2 noses to snort that shit with.
So yeah, he was double fucked.
That's right. So, but yeah, so they do all that shit, and Kenny gets chased down. He winds up losing the troll because of the milk truck that just happens to kind of stop by. And I think at one point, this is when, either right before or right after, this is Ernest is trying to set that fucking bear trap, and he fucking calls Rimshot ugly.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, you're a cute dog, but you're one ugly little kid, because he's dressed up as a little Boy Scout.
And then proceeds to get launched by the bear trap.
Yeah, because he's stuck on the bear trap trying to get it, you know, because Rimshot has got the stick to hold it apart. He's like, bring me the stick, Rimshot.
And he gives him that, like, dumbfounded look, like, are you fucking serious?
Like, you just called me ugly.
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
But yeah, and then I think the next sequence is basically them driving the truck, and then the troll motel goes off. The alarm goes off.
Oh, my God. And I laughed my ass off because, you know, Ernest is all excited about it. And Rimshot starts barking. Because he's like...
Shut this shit off.
Yeah, dude, the dog's sitting there probably like, this hurts my fucking ears. Like, you stupid human. Turn this goddamn shit off.
And you know, I bet you that was probably how they got the dog to bark at that scene.
Oh, it's to
make
turn
the noise
that shit
go
on?
off. Yeah, instead of them like showing, oh yeah, he's excited that they found the troll. It's like, no, he just wanted that shit to stop.
He's in trouble.
Yeah.
It's uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So, okay, so they grab, obviously he grabs it, goes back to the station because he finds Kenny has found his dad, who's arguing with the mayor over where his boys are because the children are missing. The Murdochs are gone. Mm. So Ernest rolls up in that bitch and he's like, hey, I captured these trolls. So he convinces them to go outside and fucking look at it, opens up the trash truck. It's the Murdoch boys.
Dressed up as trolls.
So...
the mayor just flat out pissed off, said, you know what, fuck this, you're fired, get the fuck out of here.
Yep. And then we get Ernest having his moment of like, oh, I fucked up, no money down, nothing to live for. His spirits are kind of broken. And then Rimshot is just like, nah, man, fuck that shit. Just rips his fucking jeans.
And that sparks him back. He's like, you know what? You're right.
I needed that.
I never give up. Ask my 4th grade teacher. He never gives up.
He never knew when to quit. Fucking nails on a chalkboard.
No, this is the one whenever she slaps him in the head and he falls down. Something hits his head.
She smacks him in the back of the head because he never knew when to quit. Because he does it twice. He scratches the fucking chalkboard. And I was just like, fuck, dude. Every time that happens, it makes my fucking fingernails hurt. It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, it did it to me.
Oof. So he goes and he gets is this where he goes to the dance? This is where he goes to the dance, right?
No.
I feel like I've missed a spot.
Because
the
truck scene.
Yeah, because he goes to the actual tree and finds the Brussels sprouts on the fucking tree. Well, she calls them Brussels sprouts, but
yeah,
he finds all that shit, and he goes to leave, and it's funny because Trantor starts running towards the truck, and he opens the door, just blindly opens the door, and Trantor just pop hits the fucking truck door. Absentmindedly just gets in anyway. Doesn't
Troll door, the truck door.
Yeah. He was trolled.
Yeah, hard.
Yeah. So I think one of the next shots is actually Ernest. No, it's not one of the next shots. I think it's after the scene that took place afterwards. Anyway, he's driving, talking to Tom and Bobby because he's got them on, the troll, or he's got them on CB radio
on troll call.
Yeah. So he's trying to call them. I think he calls them because he's telling Rimshot we got to get and warn these kids and all this other bullshit. So Trantor shows up and they have a fight on the truck, and Rimshot's driving the truck, and God, on the back of the bed of the truck, that was funny as shit.
Yeah, because he grabs the shears, pretending that he's gonna, do something to him, and freaking Troll just slices it with his sword, cuts both blades off, and he's just using that as a defense mechanism. Mm-hmm. And then he somehow grabs I guess it's sausage links or something, or
instead of nunchucks,
yeah, or something. And he's like, I'm a master of
hedge clip keto.
The
secret art of Japanese gardening.
And then he smacks himself in the face, and then proceeds to okay, what the fuck do I do? So he grabs a bundle of rope and throws it at Troll Door, and the Troll just flies off the back of the truck.
Fuck you, Trantor! Right off the back. And is that? Oh yeah, okay. Because the rope snags a part of the truck, so the Troll Trantor fucking stops it, and he's dragging the truck back to him, and the gas is being pressed. So you get an idea of how strong this fucker is.
So he tells Rimjob to...
He's pulling against 200 horsepower.
Yeah.
Put it in reverse.
Yeah, so he tells the dog to basically go in reverse and just runs his ass over.
This is the birth of the internet meme troll face.
Yeah.
How about a bumper sandwich, booger lips, and then the smirky laugh he gives? That's the troll face.
Mm-hmm.
Runs him the fuck over. And I think one of the funniest scenes in the movie is when they're looking for him. Trantor drops down, blows the glass through with his breath. Ernest falls into a fucking barrel, and he just throws him off the truck in the barrel.
Just Star Fox in it.
Yeah, and he's rolling down the road, and then you see Tom and Bobby, who he's been trying to CB radio the whole fucking time. Watch out, Bobby fucking hits him with their truck. And it's funny because earlier they were trying to put some billboard shit up for their store. Well, Bobby's driving the van with the fucking billboard cover portion of his own face over his fucking body.
Explain that shit.
Yeah. So they hit Ernest, and he just goes down a fucking hillside, winds up at the Hackmore place, and she's got this oversized can opener trying to peel him out of it.
Yeah.
So this is where they figure out that the kids are at the dance. He needs one more child. Ernest thinks that Miak is going to fucking stop him.
Mm-hmm.
Gets to the dance, gets hit in the face with the fucking door, and that was where I started losing my shit because he's yelling in the fucking auditorium, Trollo! Run for your lives! Trollo! So the troll finally reveals himself at the costume competition, and he gets one of the mayor's kids. Ernest confronts him, obviously, with the Miak. Gets blown away again into the fucking concession stand, and the popcorn machine falls on him, ice cream, the whole nine. And the troll goes away once again because dairy product. We find out that milk is what fucking does him in.
He's lactose intolerant.
That's right. Of all the things...
Just afraid of that D. That vitamin D.
Vitamin D's nuts.
He don't got him.
Slim chance.
2%.
1%.
Oof.
Just saying. So
That was legendary.
it was legend. Wait for it.
Dairy.
Yes. So he winds up getting rim shot too. It turns him into a fucking wooden doll. And this is basically what sends Ernest, in I guess in a Ernest P. Worrell kind of way, what sends him over the edge. Where he's just like, dude, fuck this guy. My great-great-granddaddy put him in a hole, and so can I. Somebody with a runny nose is going to die.
And our first thought was, it's a child. A toddler.
Ernest is so pissed off at this troll, he is going to go fucking murder a baby.
Yep. Who has a runny nose.
That kid's sniffling. Pours milk on him.
No, not on him. In the mouth.
Yeah. He's fucking waterboarding a fucking small infant with...
With milk. Over a diaper. Where are the other trolls? I need answers. What happened to my dog?
Fuck, this is derailed. This is great.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. So that's the end of the movie. That's what actually happened.
Yeah, he
waterboards a bunch of infants until they fucking die, and then he's arrested and put in the loony bin.
Because he was imagining the whole thing. He thought that babies were trolls.
Yep. No, we're just... Yeah.
And we're back to the reality.
Yeah, exactly. So... all the people have seen that this is an actual thing, so they all go on a giant, like...
Mob.
Yeah, like a big fucking carpool of fuckery to this damn tree.
The Brussels sprouts tree.
Yeah. Well, he's already there. The paws have dropped, and he's fighting off the trolls now, which, mind you guys, this is an interesting fact. The Chioda brothers are responsible for the troll effects in this movie. They created Trantor along with the other trolls, which, to save time, not only did they create Trantor, to save time with the rest of the troll, which were his children, these are actually the killer clowns from outer space, like the suits from Killer Clowns, degraded in paint, and different noses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very obvious.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. That was smart. Because they already looked like...
Trollish.
Yeah, they did, man. Which, if you're listening out there consecutively to our shit, that was our last call Cinema Showdown, was Killer Tomatoes and Killer Clowns.
Consistency.
That's right. These all connect somehow, some way. But anyway... So, big fucking showdown at the treehouse with the killer clown trolls. So, there's just this giant fucking fight. Milk everywhere. People everywhere. Dude in a bee costume gets
Trolls
smacked in the
everywhere.
fucking head. Yeah, trolls everywhere. Dude in a bee costume gets smacked over the head with a fucking bowling ball. That was the painful as shit to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, look, the first time I ever saw... And I told you this, and you were just like, oh, God, yeah. The first time I ever watched this, when that scene happens, the dude in the bee costume, one of his antennas is hanging down below his eye. When that fucking shit happened, the first time I saw this movie, I swear on everything, I straight up thought that bowling ball knocked an eyeball out of that dude's head.
I mean, it's enough of an impact probably to do it.
It was just fucking painful to look at, though. I was like, ugh.
Yep. I mean, all while the dude in the bee costume was getting spanked and piggybacked by a troll, which was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was pretty goddamn funny. Everybody there is just getting fucked with. All the parents are getting nailed. Everybody's just running around as like a giant calamity. But the kids, which one of the Murdochs teams with Kenny and it's like some other kids, they go raid one of the grocery stores, grab all this fucking milk and water guns and super soakers and all this shit. And they show up and they start eradicating the fuckers. Several funny sequences happen during this, which culminates with at one point Trantor sneaks off and starts like
summoning demons.
Yeah, and he transforms, and he's disgusting, even more disgusting than ever. But during all this shit, Ernest brings back all the characters from earlier that he portrayed in
The
the
multiple
garage.
personalities,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
So they basically have like another little war sequence, and all of them are like fighting in their own random way. And one of the lady personalities like, well, they fought everyone else but the last two, and they leave them to me. So she flies this like drone-like entity with like 2 mailboxes on it, and just bombs the last 2 trolls on the ground. And that was pretty much like the quote end of the battle. Until Troldor comes out of fucking hiding, and he makes like hell break out from the ground, fire and brimstone everywhere. Separates the parents from the kids and Ernest gets knocked the shit out of them, out of the tree. And this is where Kenny finally gets, tackled and turned into a doll, basically.
Yeah, and shit, dude, and he was one of the last. Yeah, he was the last one to go, because Trantor grew too strong for Milk to fuck with him. Throws him out the tree.
But also, to kind of refresh, to go back a little bit, Frances, before all this started going down...
thank you, because I missed that completely.
She had this one sequence where she grabbed like 3 or 4 dolls off of her nightstand and was like, it is your time coming up here. And she brings that little book bag of little dolls to the tree and stuffs them in. There's like, here is your chance now. She puts them in there. Rewind, go back now to the scene where Ernest is like, okay, I'm ready to do this now. So he grabs this like little carton of milk and he's like, okay, come and take me on, I'm ready for you, blah blah blah. And Francis like whispering to the mayor, and it's like, that's not gonna work because he needs unconditional love and childlike heart.
Yeah, the heart of a
child.
Yeah, because they figure out that like the book they're reading out of says the way to like win is with the heart of a child in a mother's care, which the mother's care was in the form of milk, and the heart of a child is unconditional love.
So at this point, Ernest looks down at his hand and he's like, I know what to do. So fucking cheesy ass smile on his face, and he just holds his hands out. He's like, come here.
Yeah, come here, little fella.
And he just picks him up and just spins around and dances with him, and everybody on the outside is just looking at him with this like confused, what the fuck
just
looking face.
Disgusting as fuck. Like the mayor had this like, the mayor had the face of somebody that fucking shit their pants directly next to him.
Yeah, like just ugh.
Ew.
Like Hank Hill face, like oh.
I'll tell you what.
That ain't right.
That ain't right, Bobby. God damn it, Bobby.
Stop dancing with a man.
Oh, damn it, Ernest.
So yeah, he eventually gets too much unconditional love from Ernest and just
kisses him right on the fucking mouth.
Yeah, slime.
Not nasty, but he was just like, "Oh, you're so cute." Mwah.
And just nasty boogers and everything.
Bro, the first time I watched that, I fucking gagged because when Ernest is stepping back, there is a fucking slob trail from the fucking nose of the troll to his mouth.
Yep. But it does the trick, and Troll is defeated.
Can we also point out the fact that in Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Ernest Scared Stupid, the way the trolls and the clowns die is like the same
animation.
Fucking way? Yeah, it's cool as shit though, because it's a nice little nod for the Chioda brothers. Like, so that happened, and the day is saved, and all the children that were kidnapped come out of the tree, and Frances is reunited with her sister and brother, and this is what makes me laugh. They are still young, obviously. She's old as shit, obviously. Once again, 200 years? Bullshit. That's a long fucking time.
Must have some like baby blood and just like sacrificing, putting on some like they did in American Horror Story Coven. They just kill chickens and put the blood on them and shit.
American Horror Story Scared Stupid.
Yeah. But the next part was just like, I felt a tear coming up, and it was just so like heart wrenching when Ernest was like literally crying almost. And he's like, Francis is like, well, what's wrong, Ernest? You saved the day. He's like, nobody's out of that tree. He's coming for me.
Yeah, he's like, got nothing. And
then he hears the bark, and it's like, rim shot.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, the very first time I ever watched this movie, as a kid even, I cried because I was like, that's sad. Like, And it would have been like,
it's sad to me because it's how innocent he is, and his facial expressions just reflected that like sadness, that depression, that nothing was coming to him.
yeah, because the dog was all he had.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause it's obvious that nobody in the town really gave a shit about him other than the kids and the dog, and you know, he's just largely like, yeah, buffoonish, sure, but he, you know, I feel like the Ernest character is largely misunderstood because nobody really gave a shit about him.
Right.
So, yeah, but it's a happy ending because he is reunited with the dog, and you fucking cracked up at the end with this last shot,
Dude, like they're like hugging each other, and like he's kissing him, and
Oh,
the
such a
dog's
good
licking-
doggo.
and slowly panning lower and lower underneath the camera, and there's Frances just like looking down at both of them, and you can still hear the dog, and Ernest's like, "Oh, that's a good dog," blah blah blah, and she's just looking down with like creepy look, and she looks up at the camera with this another creepy look, and looks right back down, and it's like,
What the fuck just happened?
Is she getting like pleased by this? Is she like getting aroused?
That's so bad.
Ew.
Why? But that's the end, and that's Ernest Scared Stupid. So, I mean, look, both of these movies, obviously, they're fucking classics in their own right. To me, they are. They are staples of 90s nostalgia as far as childhood, Halloween, you know, things of that nature. If you're going to watch these movies, these are great to watch with your kids. Like, we do a lot of, you know, PG-13 and like R-rated film talk on here, but like both these movies are rated PG. You can watch these movies with your kids if you haven't already, obviously, but you can, and they're great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we grew up with them. Your kids should probably grow up with them because these movies they're obviously cult classics in their own right because, you know, they came out and, you know, they did money at the theaters, but they really gained a following on home video and on television.
Yep.
In fact, Ernest Scared Stupid was the very last Ernest movie to get a theatrical release because it underperformed, and it also actually scared the shit out of kids. Like, it was the last one for those two reasons. Touchstone, which was the Disney imprint for like some of their harder edge shit, released it. And Hocus Pocus was actually originally conceived as a television movie, and it was bought in '84. Like the rights, and I think the rights, and then like the script had been sat on since '84. So, you know, I'm glad they exist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as like the enjoyment factor goes, like it's always difficult for us. Like sometimes we have a good clear cut winner. We don't really get to say, oh, this wins, because there's usually a clear-cut choice of like, oh my god, like this movie was so much, you know, more, because we like the movies we talk about on here, no matter what. I personally enjoy both of them. As far as the which is better than the other factor, it's hard for me to pick because you have the story factor of Hocus Pocus and the special effects, the mythology behind it, the actor, like the cast really does wonders. The humor's there, you know, that is all edge-worthy for that. And for me, with Ernest Scared Stupid, it's just the fact that it was the best Ernest film that had come out, and the humor was in the correct spots. The characters were really decently developed, believe it or not, for this movie. And it was just a good time. And the fact that it actually, as a kid, you know, was kind of frightening.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, if you're looking at a whole total package, I mean, Hocus Pocus, you know, obviously. So, I guess that's where I would go with it. It's like, watch them both. But, I mean, Hocus Pocus is absolute classic.
Right. I'm the same. Like, there's nothing horrible about Ernest that would make me detracted, like, completely. It's just, for me, more of the nostalgia comes from me watching it over the years, for one. Two, it's more structure to it that will give me more of a satisfied feeling when I do watch it. And when I don't really have a lot of open-mindedness when it comes to like humor in Halloween movies. unless it's, like an Ernest movie that's meant for that kind of stuff. So, like, with a Halloween theme, it has to be more family friendly versus being, like, completely just humorous to me. So I feel that Hocus Pocus has more of my appeal with that because it's more of like a Halloween classic rather than just being a scary, funny film, basically.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I'm the same way. They're both good films in their own rights, and I have nothing against either one. It's just I'm more drawn towards Hocus Pocus for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, same here. So, yay. That's the movies.
And damn, it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's the longest one we've done for a while, huh?
I think so. Well, I mean, one of the longer... Yeah, it's one of our longer ones, for sure.
We just had a lot to talk about.
Yeah. And we will put links in the show notes to where you can find these and either rent them or buy them on Amazon, all that shit.
If you don't already.
Yeah, if you don't already have them, because, I mean, do it. Yeah.
20-something years later.
No shit. All right, guys. We're going to give you a rundown on the social media shit.
Yeah.
Because, you already know. You already fucking know. We had the aforementioned pictures that we talked about at the top of the show. If you want to come to our Facebook page and, write on our wall, talk to us, or comment on any of the stuff that we post, do it. It's at facebook.com/supermediabros. If you want to... I don't know.
Oh, well,
If you would like to tweet at us and tell us, hey, I really liked Ernest better, or hey, guys, you were right on the money with Hocus Pocus. That's Twitter.
Hey, guys, you suck because you don't know, like, good films.
Yeah. You guys just suck.
Yeah.
Just tell us.
Or you're the best ever, will you stalk me?
That's it.
Yeah.
Twitter.com/supermedia_bros. And once again, if you would like to come look at our stupid fucking pictures, Instagram.com/supermediabrospodcast. Come look at our stupid pictures.
I was waiting for it.
I know you were. I just had to fucking do it. So, yeah. Any fucking way. I think that's all that I've got.
Same.
I got scared stupid in Salem. You got scared stupid in Salem. I hope all of you out there got scared stupid in Salem.
Or get scared stupid.
Yeah, just stupidly scared.
Yeah.
In Salem.
Salemly.
Witches and trolls hunting the fucking children down.
All on Halloween.
That's right. Speaking of Halloween, next week we will be back to conclude the entire month of Halloween with our episodes with the Halloween franchise. We'll just take a look at it casually as far as like, hey, we watched these growing up, or we watched these, we like this movie,
We like this part, I like how this was done.
The timelines, the actors, the different Michael Myers / the shape, the different lead roles in the movie, all that bullshit.
Slicing and dicing.
Because there's a fuckload of them.
Yep.
Yeah. So, want to cue the fucking music, get the fuck out?
Get on it.
Get on it! Ugh. Holy shnikes. That was episode 42 of the Super Media Brothers podcast. Until next week, I've been Midnight Agent Raw.
And I've been Okame.
Shades on!
We're off.